In this chapter, we are going to cover concepts of formulas, operators, priorities of execution, and Boolean data type. Before we go deeper, we have to know what is the formula. A formula is a concise way of expressing information. As you see in front of you, the general syntax of a formula is variable equal to expression. In Excel, a cell replaces a variable as a place that receives the value from the function or the expression. Then you have the equal. This equal is very important to add, otherwise Excel won't know that you are talking about a formula. Then function, parameter list. The function and parameter list part, which is the right hand side of the formula, is going to return a value that's going to be kept in the cell. As an example of that, we have a function called equal count A1 to D1. A1 is a range, D1 is A1, D1 is a range. A1 is a range from, D1 is a range to, and the column in between them describes the range. This is a range, we did not cover it yet, but we are going to see it just a moment from now. This range, A1 to D1, can be named to simplify data manipulation. If we have this picture that depicts Excel, what's going to happen? We have A1 value 1, B1 value 2, C1 value 3, D1 value 4. And we want to apply the count function from A1 to D1, from A1 to D1. What we are going to do is we stop in the cell that's going to receive the result. Here, the cell that's receiving the result equal to function. As we said, so equal, here is the equal, count and the range. The result is going to be 4. Number of them are 4. From the previous lecture, we built a table, sales report table, in a workbook and save that workbook. As you can see, when we opened Excel again today, we found what we saved as pinned to the left hand side of this window. I am going to click on it to use it. If you don't see it here, all you have to do is to go to open other workbook, browse, and select the location wherever you saved the workbook. But for now, I'm going to use the sales report that I have here. Please pay attention to this part quickly because it's very important and very delicate. Now we have this table in front of us. We need to add totals. Here, total of sales in Q1, total of sales in Q2, total of sales in Q3, total of sales in Q4. And here, total of sales of item 1 yearly, item 2 by the year, item 3 by the year. So what to do? We are going to use a formula. The simplest way to type a formula is to do equal. The first thing to do, it's always there, equal. Don't forget the equal or it will not, Excel will not recognize what you are writing as a formula. So if I say, for example, here, as you can see, there is nothing happening. But if I type equal, Excel will know that I am using something. Okay? So let's go back to cell number I4 and type equal. I am gonna do summation. So I need to sum, to add number of cells, the values of number of cells for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. What I'm gonna do is to type the sum function, SUM. Here it is, sum. What happened? It gave me a tooltip here for numbers I need. So I'm going to click on Q1, cell E4, drag until cell H4, release, put the second parenthesis, press enter, here it is. Again, I'm going to add all the sales of the all items for the Q1. I want to know how many items I sold from how many how many items it was sold in the Q1. I stop on E7, click on E7, type the first thing which is equal, then the same sum. If I don't know, it's gonna drop down menu with the numbers I want. Click on E4, drag to E7, close, press enter, here it is. So as you can see, we performed a function of summation. It's a formula we wrote and we performed it twice. Now I have a problem. In the cell I4, I have a formula, but I need to repeat the same formula in cell I5 and I6. Oh my God, am I going to write it all over and again? No, I don't need to write it over and over again. Because supposedly if we have 20 rows, 1,000 rows, what are we going to do? Are we going to type it in every row? That's inefficient and it's not right to do it. So there is the shortcut, and the handle again serves us. We just drag. What happened? It automatically copied the formula and understood that I am gonna add a range from 10, 20, 10, 50. It gave me 90, and here is 2000 and 100. The same thing here. I do the drag and click. What happened? Here it is. So Excel understood that. Now, so far we had two methods of writing a formula. Both of them are the same, but we are typing them in a different way. The first method is writing it. The second way is grabbing it or dragging it. Now, we have the table, save the table to keep the changes that we have, and that's the table is done. Now, we did not talk about the range, naming range. I'm gonna type any numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, and I want to sum 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 cells. I stopped on the cell G16 and I'm going to do equal, equal sum. Should I write it again? No, there is a better way. We are going to name it. So click on the G12, drag to 40. So that's the range. As you can see, the green rectangle has surrounded the entire range. Right mouse click, define name, say any. That's a name. If you have more than one word, any numbers, if you have more than one word, do not leave space. This is going to be an error. If we click on OK, it gave me an error. Why? Because we cannot have a redundant name or we cannot have a space. Spaces are not allowed. So I have to remove the space and click OK. So now I have a range called any number. When I do summation, I go and type equal sum open, but I'm going to write, instead of typing E1, C1 cell name, I'm going to reference the entire range. So any, as you can see, any numbers immediately showed up. So I click on any number, close it, enter. It gave me 100. So far, we wrote a formula and dragged it to copy, and we used the naming references of a range. I'm going to erase those to be part of the complete file. So we finished the sales report like this. Operators, Excel operators. What's an operator? An operator is a character that represents an action. For example, you have the plus represents addition, minus character represents the subtraction. As you see in front of you right now, there are several categories of operations. Actually, there are four categories of operators. The first category that we are going to talk about at this time is arithmetic operators. If we have A1 and we put here 10 value, and we have B1 and we put 20 value, and we are going to stop in the cell D1 that's going to receive the resulting answer. And we would like to add the value of A1 to the value of B1. So equal A1 plus B1. The result is 30. So we performed the addition operation in a formula. Now let's do subtraction. Equal, as we write always, A1 minus B1. Enter, gave me minus 10. Now the third one is division. Equal A1 divided by B1. The result is equal 0.5. Percentage, I am going to take equal B1 percentage equal 0.2. The final one is exponentiation. I'm going to say B equal B1 to the power of 2. Press enter, it is 400. This is what we mean by arithmetic operation or arithmetic operators. Now, after we finished the operators and we know the arithmetic operators that we have, now we have to move into a very crucial and very important part, which is the priority of executions, or how these priorities are executed, or the priorities of executing these operators. If we have something called a formula equal 4 plus 3 multiply by 2 to the power of 2. This is a formula of constants 4 plus 3 multiplied by 2 to the power of 2. If we press enter, it gave us 16. How did this number came? Excel has the execution priority. If we change the priority by adding parentheses, okay, here is a parentheses, and here is another parentheses, and we press enter, the number has become 28. As you can see, we changed only the priority of execution, and we got a different result. If we go change it again, sorry, and we put it here, the parentheses, we have a different priority of execution. As a result of that, we have a rule here. As a rule of thumb, always use parentheses in your formulas. It's going to be easier for you to follow up with the execution. And as you can see in this table right now, the priorities of execution is ordered as number one, the negation, like -1. Number two, the percentage. Number three, the exponentiation. Number four, the multiplication and division. Number five, the addition and subtraction. Therefore, if we have an example, says B4 plus 25 divided by the sum of D5 range to F5, how this is going to be executed. Rule number two, when you have a parenthesis, it's going to be executed according to the rule that says the closer to the equal execute it first. So the execution direction is going to be from left to right. That means we are going to take the B4 plus 25 first as an entity. Then we have the sum of the range D5 to F5. This is another entity. Then we take the first result we had, which is B4 plus 25, divided by the second entity, which is the summation. So it's going to be done in 3 stages, as you can see in the example. Up to this point, we spoke about two data types. The first one is the number data type, and the second one is the text data type. Now we are going to talk about the third data type that we have in Excel, which is the Boolean data type. The Boolean might be a heavy word, but it is very simple actually. The Boolean data type is a data type that has one of two possible values, either true or false, which is intended to represent the two truth value of logic and Boolean algebra. Once again, the Boolean data type is a data type that has either true or false, just true or false, 1 or 0, which is the binary system of the computer. This is the Boolean data type. Now, as you can see in front of you right now, we have the second operator categories, which is the comparison operators. You have equal. When we say A1 is equal to A2, and we have greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal, and then not equal at all. So if we have A1, cell A1 here is 100, and cell B1 is 50. It's just a random values that I added. Here in D, I am going to have equal, which is a formula, as we said before. Usually, we use, as a rule, you start with the equal. A1 equal A, sorry, equal B1. What is the result? False, because A1 is 100, B1 is 50. So are they equal? No, they are not equal. They are false. Okay, the second one, greater than. Once again, it's a formula, so we write equal. Is A1 greater than B1? It is true. Now, is A1 less than B1, the result is nothing because I forgot to add the equal. I just did that on purpose to show you that equal is very important for Excel to know that we are having a formula. So the result is false. Now, is A1 greater than or equal to B1? True. And is A1 less than or equal B1? False. Now, equal, is A1 not equal to B1? The result is true. This is simply a Boolean expressions that we are using, and we have finished with this, the Boolean or the comparison operators. Finally, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like.